All right, we are live with Miss Jaimee Michell. She is the founder of Against Groomers. Welcome, Jaimee. We're so glad you're here.
Hi, Kim. Thank you for having me, both of you. Happy to be with you.
Absolutely. Do you want to give us a little introduction about yourself and your organization?
Yeah. So I'm Jaimee. I am the founder of Against Groomers, an organization and coalition that just launched 3 months ago, June 6th, a little over 3 months ago now. In that time, we have basically taken the country by storm. I never expected for it to blow up as much as it did, but obviously people see the need for our voices from within the community in this fight to, effectively end it. I think it's going to take those of us from the inside to end it. And I wanted to start it because straight people, parents, all, everyone speaks out against it, and God bless them for doing so. But the grooming, what I'm talking about is speaking out against grooming, of the grooming of children, being the sexualization, the indoctrination, sorry, one second, something popped up. And the mutilation, the medicalization of these kids, these vulnerable, suffering, confused kids. So that's what we are fighting against. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, straight people speak out against it and they're instantly written off as hateful and bigoted and all the phobics. Obviously, we know that's not true. I think they know it's not true also. They just use that to silence people. So we're in this fight now, and we've had quite a bumpy ride thus far. Oh gosh, sorry, I gotta go on. Do not
No worries. Yeah, we've seen you. You've been on Fox a couple times. You're on Tucker Carlson last night. We've seen some of the censorship that you guys have dealt with, like being banned from pretty big platforms. So tell us a little bit about that backlash. Like, it goes without saying, you guys are an organization of gay people that are speaking out against children being groomed. So full stop. We're talking about protecting children.
That's
it's ironic, we could say, we could use that word, that people are using other words to describe you guys and completely, misinterpreting the message. You're being called transphobic. You're being called an anti-trans hate group. It's being called an LGBT grooming conspiracy theory and an hate-fueled group. So it's a rhetorical question because we know why there's opposition, but talk to us a little bit about what you guys are dealing with.
Right. So in the past, in the span of 24 hours, this happened starting 2 nights ago. We were banned from PayPal and Venmo. We had been using their services to raise money for our organization. We are completely independent, 100% grassroots. We have no connection to any other kind of organization or any backing, any funding whatsoever. So, we've been basically surviving off of small donations from people that believe in what we're doing. So they banned us, and then the following morning, yesterday morning, we were banned from Google. They took us off of their platform, like for email, and we were using Google Drive to create documents and just within the team. And yeah, as of today, about a few hours ago, we actually got our Google account back. I think that, they saw the backlash happening from on Twitter and also from me being on Tucker Carlson, that it was probably not worth them to pick this fight. I mean, with us, because we are just a group of gay people and trans people. We have some trans people in our organization, and all these companies, big tech and big corporate America, and they all claim to want to promote and be inclusive of minority groups and all minorities. But unfortunately, that all goes out the window, as we know, when one of those groups step out of line with the official agenda and narrative. So we're still banned from PayPal and Venmo. Probably not getting those back. I'm not sure, but that's just what we've dealt with in the past, I'd say 36 hours now. Prior to that, we have been permanently banned on Twitter twice. We somehow we've gotten it back each time. They don't tell us why they're banning us, and they don't tell us why they give it back. And yeah, it's just, it's not going to stop. But we're not deterred nor intimidated. And our mission is way too important to, ever quit. So we're not going to do that.
We thank you guys for that, because we know your voice is so needed in this whole discussion, right? And again, there's so many aspects, there's so many ways that children are being targeted and groomed. And let's unpack grooming real quick, because I really want to differentiate, why you guys are so focused on this mission, and also the misrepresentations or the misinterpretations that people seem to not understand, right? It's what we're talking about. So to define grooming, this is how we define it. You are essentially desensitizing the child to harmful or inappropriate behavior with interactions that can come across as harmless or sometimes even rewarding. So the child doesn't know, of course, children are innocent. They don't understand if they're being targeted. And it's also very easy to essentially outsmart a child. So grooming can be done in a lot of ways. Grooming is typically a tactic that child predators use to gain access to a child. So Veterans for Child Rescue specifically exposes and eradicates child trafficking in the USA. And we talk about all these different ways children can be targeted and how to make sure your child is not an easy target. So this is one of many aspects, but do you want to help us unpack that topic of grooming and why you're specifically focused on it and why you believe it's harmful for children?
Yeah, of course. And what you said, that is a perfect summary. People are now claiming that the word groomer is an anti-LGBTQ slur, and it's obviously not. I'm gay, I'm a lesbian woman, and I am not offended by the word groomer because I'm not a groomer. Nobody in my life, none of my friends that are gay, excuse me, or trans or anything, none of them are groomers. They're not offended by this word. So, and I actually believe,
real quick, because I want you to keep going, but just to clarify, grooming is not specific to anything related to the gay or LGBT community.
That's the crazy part.
Right. It is a tactic predators use to essentially desensitize the child to something inappropriate or harmful. So grooming is a whole topic. Now it's being done in a specific way, and it's being represented as if it's somehow representative of the gay and LGBT community.
Right.
So you guys are a voice to explain why, first of all, that's not the same thing. And second of all, combating grooming children, full stop, is not the same thing as speaking out against anything related to the LGBT community, because for one, that is what you guys represent.
Exactly. And yeah, no, for sure. And, people get called homophobic and transphobic and hateful for speaking out about what's being done to these kids now. Sadly, it has co-opted our community. We're focused on what's happening from within our community and those that are pushing it in our name, because I think that these groomers and predators and, they're using us as a shield to kind of keep doing it without as much pushback. And they can, like I said, they just can write people off and shut them up by claiming that they're, a bigot and whatnot. But no, that's not the case. Grooming is done, grooming is done by everyone, everywhere. It's not specific to, just LGBT people. And the majority of the LGBT community is not, we're not groomers. And that's another reason why I found our coalition to be really necessary, not only to protect kids, but to also try and reclaim our good standing in society, which we, achieved not very long ago. And what these radical activists are doing within our movement, within our community, is wiping that all away. It's erasing it, setting us back decades in society. And it's really unfortunate. But yeah, no, we're against the sexualization of children, like in drag shows, and just these adults are putting them in these positions that are predatory. They just are. Drag shows have never been anything but adult entertainment. You wouldn't take your child to a strip club, so you shouldn't. This is no different in our opinion.
And once again, we're differentiating adult entertainment.
Yes.
Totally fine. Do you?
Yeah, of course.
And adult entertainment being pushed or forced on children.
Yep.
Totally different thing.
Yeah. We don't care what anybody does as an adult. I mean, I've been to drag shows. I've gone to drag shows my whole adult life. They're fun.
Sure.
Well, since I was, able to go into bars, which is a whole other subject. Like, why are kids even allowed to go in these bars? It's just wild. But no, nobody, I know you guys don't care what anybody does as an adult. We don't care what anybody does as an adult. Just leave the children out of it.
100%.
It's crazy. So last night I was on Tucker, and they actually brought a studio van to my house to film in. And I was talking to the guy that drives it and operates it. And he was saying that he has a 12-year-old daughter. And this is in a small town in Wisconsin where he lives. He lives in like northern Wisconsin somewhere, a tiny little town. He has a 12-year-old daughter. And he said when she was 7 years old, she came home from school and said, "Dad, I think I'm gay." And her dad was like, "Why do you think that? What makes you think that?" And she told him that, well, in school, our teacher said that if a girl likes other girls, that she's probably gay. And, you know, kids at this age, any child cannot, you know, of course, a girl likes her friends that are also girls. Like, she loves playing with her friends. A child cannot understand like what that actually entails, like sexual attraction, you know, having feelings, intimate feelings towards a person. So it's absolutely out of control. And this is a small town in Wisconsin, and that was 5 years ago. So things have just exploded. I mean, the entire educational system has become like a predatory institution. They are shoving this down kids' throats. The indoctrination is, I mean, it's hard to say which is worst. I think the medicalization has to take the cake, though, because they are, you know, chopping the breasts off of healthy, you know, young girls. They're doing it on girls. A hospital admitted on camera that they're doing it to girls as young as 12. You know, and so all of our detractors and all of the people that are okay with this and are pushing this, they say that that's not happening. But despite the direct evidence that we're seeing with our own eyes and hearing with our own ears, that it's happening. So it's just wild. But yeah, I want to make clear for everybody that it's not anti-LGBTQ to stand up against this and to fight against it. I mean, it's literally morally necessary. I mean, these are children. And like you were saying in the beginning, there's nothing more uniting than protecting children. We're not a political organization. We're nonpartisan. And we have support from all sides of the aisle, all over the political spectrum, from like staunch Christian conservatives, you know, Bible thumpers, they'd call them, and like even communists have messaged us. They have the little hammer and sickle in their bio, in their profile, and they all come out supporting us and standing with us, you know, even if people don't necessarily agree with you know, the gay lifestyle or just being gay or being trans. Like, we're pushing all of that aside. You know, they understand how important our voices are in this fight. So we're all uniting together to fight this evil and this rot festering, and trying to really put it to bed before more damage is done. And there's a lot of damage being done right now.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for what you're doing. And like you said, you know, it's difficult to comprehend that some irreversible damage can be done to a child who's, first of all, they don't have a fully developed brain. They're not able to vote or drink or smoke legally, but making irreversible changes to their body. To me, you know, there's a lot to be said for building a child's self-esteem. And we talk about this as well a lot in our education, where a way to make sure your child is not an easy target is to build their self-esteem. And that means teaching them self-acceptance.
Yes.
That means if you're the one telling them you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're intelligent, you're perfect just the way you are, explore your gift, all that kind of stuff, that gives them self-worth. That makes them less susceptible when a predator comes online, and there are so many who are more than willing to say, "You're so beautiful, you're so pretty, send me pictures." A child will be less susceptible if they're getting the actual affirmation from their family and their loved ones at home.
Yeah.
Two, if they get bullied for, "Oh, you're stupid," or whatever, they will also be less susceptible for that. Most importantly, in this conversation, teaching them to love and accept themselves is such a vital part of their character building, regardless of what they decide to do when they're older, full stop, when they're ready to make the decisions for the rest of their life or whatever their preferences are going to be. Sexual preferences are not a decision that a child should ever have to make. Child, right? So we're not talking about who they decide to be friends with or the way they choose to look or what they want to be called, but assuming that a child can, first of all, make that decision and then encouraging and promoting it. To me, it's the opposite of self-acceptance and self-love.
You hit the nail on the head. I'm so glad you brought that up. we have a big a slogan that we use saying no child is born in the wrong body, and it is so evil to tell them otherwise, to make them doubt or believe that something is wrong with them, because it's pure evil to put that on a kid and to make them confused and think they were born in the wrong body. I mean, that is a hard concept for even adults to grasp, and fully understand what that means or how that could be possible. But saying that to kids, I mean, it's absolutely evil. And yeah, that's so important what you say, because yeah. And another interesting point that you said about how predators come online and love bomb them and stuff, kids. A big part of this agenda and the behaviors that are being that are done within it is kind of, it's separating it's dismantling like the trust a child has with their parents, or making them view their parents as like the bad guys, or just not cool or not accepting, and put this like rift between them, to build this rift between them, because then, like in any cult or like any kind of predator, they want to become the child's family and source of love and acceptance, and that's obviously predatory tactic 101,
100%. No safe adult, a non-predatory adult, is never going to ask a child to keep secrets from their family.
Yes.
Or want to isolate the child from their family.
Yeah, and that's happening in schools. It's happening everywhere in schools right now. I mean, it's like the schools have become the predators. It's so scary. These are where kids are supposed to go, be safe, and just learn, like, what happened to reading, writing, and arithmetic, like, what? It's just, it blows our mind. It blows my mind, and it's just, there's really no words. I mean, it's mind-boggling for sure.
100%. Grooming is something we talk about often, like I said, because it's something people need to be aware of. And again, we're focused on child trafficking and child abuse in the USA. It almost always starts with grooming. Grooming
Yes.
wasn't really a thing people said until recently, when it became very misunderstood. Yes. There's a analysis from a forensic psychiatrist, and there's the 6 stages of sexual grooming: targeting the victim, gaining trust, filling a need, isolating the child, sexualizing the relationship, and maintaining control.
God, that is, I need you to send me that, because I want to tweet that.
Absolutely. On our website under tools and education, I'll send this to you, but we have a what is grooming massive page where we really unpack it for people.
Yeah, that's great.
This is a procedure. This is a playbook. People need to understand that this is a tactic predators use. A non-predatory adult will not do those things. So once again, this is not specific to any political party, to any adult preferences, to any race, religion, etc. This is a tactic predators use. And for some reason, they're confusing it or sort of grouping in the LGBT community and acting as if you're against grooming children, you're against the LGBTQ community. And that is so far from the truth. And again, we're so glad for your organization and for your voices, because we need you guys to really be
we need to get that message across. I always tell straight people, I'm like, refer them to us. If you're being called these things, point them our way. We're happy to like be used as like, I don't know exactly what to call it, but like, look at these guys, like they're gay and they're against this, like it needs to be said, because I mean, our adults are being fully brainwashed, and parents are being brainwashed to believe that if they're against, what's happening to these kids right now, that they're intolerant and hateful. And like, that's a scary thing, especially for, school moms and stuff. I want to say like woke moms, it's part of woke culture to their kryptonite is being called intolerant or hateful. Like they have to avoid that at all costs. So yeah, it's very scary. And what you said is absolutely correct. Like this is a meticulous plan. They know exactly what they're doing. This isn't just, they're not just throwing things at the wall and see what sticks, this is a meticulous, detailed plan. And that's why we call it an agenda. Like they're literally just going through the agenda to get to their end goal,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for years, and, they have the experience and the knowledge to keep doing that. And, that's what we got to do, is inform the populace, so that way we can change that culture. because
Yep.
it's a sick thing out there.
You know, it's been really scary to actually, since I've been doing this, and even, you know, I've been doing this for 3 months now, but just seeing this all kind of build and explode and take over all of our culture now and just institutions. I don't think I fully understood how many pedophiles and predators, child predators existed. And it's, you know, I know there's a lot. Like, I know there's a lot. There's crimes that have been happening, and those are only probably 1% of the people that ever get caught. But it's like, I mean, it's scary. It makes me sick to my stomach to even think about how large of a number that probably is.
Yeah, 100%. We say this often as well, but statistics and data are difficult in this subject because most of it is not reported.
Right.
We're talking about, you know, child harm and trafficking. Less than 1% of child trafficking victims are ever rescued.
Yes.
We don't know what percentage is actually reported or not. We just know that what is reported, those numbers are staggering. So if you want to multiply that by 5 or 10 or whatever it is,
for sure.
it's disgusting. But here's what people need to understand.
Yeah.
Where there is demand, there is supply. So the demand means there are predators out there. And this type of predatory behavior attracts and appeals to predators.
Yeah.
So we also talk about, you know, things like social media, and it could seem harmless, but when a child has a device that has unlimited access to all the information that has ever been published on the internet, you're giving them this open-ended communication and visualization device for a lot of things that may not be appropriate for their age. I'm really emphasizing when we're talking about children and what's appropriate for them, because it's not the same thing as what's appropriate for adults. Most of us know this, but it's surprising how many people don't.
You got to say it anyways, because
I know.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh no. So yeah, like, by sexualizing these kids, having them in drag shows, and like, I'm sure you guys know now, like, there's all this pornography in school libraries and children's libraries, and just materials that they're even being handed out at schools, like homework type stuff, you know, with pornographic illustrations. And Christopher Rufo, I don't know if you guys know about him on Twitter. He just published this huge this Twitter thread basically showing all this pornographic material that is, I think it's for teachers to tell them how to talk to their students about sexual activity. Like, I don't even want to say it, like gay sex and trans sex. And but I think that what this is leading to is ultimately the normalization of pedophilia, for them to have it accepted in society or more normalized. That has to be the eventual push, because by sexualizing these children, you're telling them that it's okay to be sexual, and they're learning this from adults that, like, you know, right. So if a child predator tries to molest them, you know, they might be led to believe that this is okay. Like, I learned about this. I've seen this in person now, you know, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get explicit, but I do think that this is all part of normalizing pedophilia. And another point about that in the same regard is, like, if a child can consent to cutting her breasts off or to starting puberty blockers that will sterilize them and, you know, just stunt their growth, it has lifelong medical complications, all of these things. If a child can consent to that, what can't they consent to? You know, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, how can you consent to anything more extreme than that? You know, a kid can't have a drink at 10, but they can go on puberty blockers, which will affect, you know, so being able to consent to that, I think, opens it draws a clear path, like, from A to B to being able to consent to sex with adults, basically, for people that are trying to take advantage of them and do that to them.
Yeah. Like, let's just oversimplify this issue. Why are we teaching children about sex? And I'm talking about, like, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 5-year-olds. Why? Right.
It's like as young as 4 now. I mean, I think, you know,
we're not even talking about, you know, dirty sex or different things that a lot of adults don't even do sometimes. Like, why is this being taught to children, specifically in schools? It's one thing if their parents want to have the birds and the bees conversation. It's very different if there's pornographic images in their school literature and homework.
I'm saying, I think that, I mean, that is the only logical conclusion I can come to, you know, that it's just to normalize that, to make them okay over time, you know, just having this material, seeing it, they see it everywhere now, right? It's on their phone. Well, not necessarily 4-year-olds. I mean, it's crazy. They're really doing this to 4-year-olds in schools now, but young children just being exposed to this kind of stuff and desensitized to it, and able to, like I said, on top of being able to decide that they're another gender when they can't even decide their own bedtime. You know, all of these things lead to a very dangerous, dangerous place.
And look at all the social media that's out there. You know, parents are allowing their children, you know, to post those types of videos that are really explicit and stuff like that, and dancing videos, you know, and sexualizing them. You know, that is, to me, that's very sick and wrong, and no parent should ever see their child do that or have them do that. You know, because, and I'm sorry, but yeah, it's
please,
to me, it's gross.
Especially when it's for strangers on the internet, right? There's a whole other dynamic. Like, let's pretend that was real life and your child was on a stage performing or dancing in a sexual manner for adults. Like, never is that okay.
No, but you know, these parents are taking some of the, you know, there's drag shows for actually children to perform now. Like there was at Boise Pride in Idaho, there was they advertised that there was a drag show just for kids to perform and do the stage and everything and collect tips. I mean, this is you know, parents that do this, honestly, like, child abuse laws are already on the books. Like, I really think they need to start being enacted, like, against this stuff. Parents doing this, they're endangering their child. I mean, if that's not abusive, I don't know what is. You know, to put them on a stage in front of strangers that are, you know, they're performing sexually just in general, and having people watch and tip them. I mean, that's pretty grotesque.
Right. That's a really explicit transaction, to be nice but clear, right? Well, again, we want to thank you guys for what you're doing. I know that quite a few friends of mine in the gay community are very, you know, they were saying, like, please tell her that the gay community really needed a public platform for this mega topic. We're so grateful that she stepped up to create it. You know, thank you so much for being a voice. We know that your guys' message is so needed and so powerful for so many people. And, you know, thank you for standing in the fight and being on the right side of history for all of this. I want to be respectful of your time, but I know we could talk about this all day. But can you tell us, what are some of your upcoming projects and how can we help you guys?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I mean, I admire what you guys do. You guys are real heroes. I mean, not only for, you know, serving your country, our country, but, you know, just, this is like the real, you guys walk the walk, and it's like, you guys are heroes in my eyes, for more than one reason. But yeah, our plans, we actually have plans to go beyond just being online. We plan to, we're in the process of launching over 30 chapters across the country. We also have had applicants for chapter leaders in 5 different countries. So this is going to be a global movement that's going to actually, you know, take action. We plan to host events, to go to protests, to do rallies. We also want to, at some point, create a resource, like a resource hub for children and parents, not young children, but, you know, parents essentially that are struggling, that have a child that's struggling with this, like how to go about dealing with it. So we have a lot of plans, but yeah, we're definitely going to be more than just an online account. But like I said, we're so new. We're just a little over 3 months old right now. And yeah, if anybody wants to learn more about us or go follow us, you can just go to our website, gaysagainstgroomers.com. You can donate. We just became a nonprofit organization 3 days ago, so you can now give tax-deductible donations. Yeah, we have merch. It's really awesome if you want to give something and get something in return. And all of our social links are there too. And you can also volunteer on the site. Oh my God, my dog is starting up. Can you hear her? Sorry.
No, I can't. But that's amazing. Thank you so much. We posted the link here in the comments. If anyone has questions, please follow them. Please support them. See what they're doing next. Again, they've been banned from a lot of major platforms. So your support and sharing their posts is part of how we can help them get the message out. So
yeah, and that more than anything, more than donations, more than anything, just spread the word about us. You know, just point people to our website and they can find us very easily. While our website is still up, I don't know where we're going to get banned next, but I know another one's right around the corner. So just spread the word about our organization, because the more we grow, the more I mean, it helps everybody. You know, it helps the kids, it helps our community, it helps parents. We're all going to unite together to end this, and we just hope that we can do our part.
Definitely. I appreciate that. I'm glad you brought that up about resources to help parents whose kids are navigating this, because it was one of the questions that probably don't have time to ask, but if anyone watching this has questions or needs guidance, this is a great resource to go through, because if kids are being confused by what they're being told, or if they have things that they're going through and they don't really know how to navigate it, as any child wouldn't, please do reach out to them. They have a lot of content creators and people there that can help you guys out.
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually thinking of doing a live stream soon where we invite, we'll take people like in the live or whatever on Instagram probably or something, and they can ask a question if they have like they're dealing with a child that's going through this kind of stuff right now, and hopefully we can just give advice. I mean, none of us are professionals. We're just, gay adults, some trans adults, but we do want to we're trying to raise funds to be able to put something like that together with actual professionals, because
that would be amazing.
We're not qualified technically to do that, and the last thing we want to do is lead any parent in the wrong direction. But we can help, I think, a little before with ways to help their kid until we get that basically established.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'd love to have you on as long as you're able. I know you said you have to go soon.
Yeah, I do have to get going, but I'm happy to come back another time for sure.
We would love to have you back. We have a radio show as well. We're working on a TV show. We're, in a very similar fight. We're just trying to protect children and put resources out that can help parents and caretakers protect children. And that's really what it comes down to. So thank you again for standing with us.
Your work is so important. So anything that Gays Against Groomers can do to help you guys also, like, we all have to just, like I said, unite to battle this evil. So
absolutely. Thank you again for being here, and thank you everyone for watching. The replay will be posted here so you can catch it if you missed it. Jaimee, thanks again. We will be in touch.
Thank you guys. Bye.